Hey everyone, this is Sumit K. In this video, I'm going to build a conversational search agent with agent engine and RAG on Vertex AI Search. So we have already discussed what is agent engine, how you can deploy a simple agent into an agent engine. So agent engine is nothing; it's just a, a infrastructure or a compute engine platform on which you can deploy your agent package on in the form of containers. So generally, when you deploy an agent on local machine, when you build your agent on your and you test it on your local machine, once everything is tested and fully functional, then to deploy this in production, you need to use agent engine, or additionally, you can alternately you can also use Cloud Run and GKE. But here I'm going to show you something different. We're going to build a conversational search agent which will be deployed onto the agentic engine, and we will use the rack functionality using the Vertex AI on the Vertex AI search. So the objective of this demo is that you will build and deploy an agent. Basically, you will deploy the models, tools, and reasoning using the Vertex AI SDK. And your this agent, I'll use the LangChain and Vertex AI Search, but you can deploy your agent using ADK framework or any other open source framework. And this agent will be used to retrieve the structured data, structured index data from the a data set, which is a collection of a movie's name on Kaggle. And we will use the retrieval augmented generation RAG to query the data set. And this query will also be embedded as a as a vector. And based on that, it will generate the response using the RAG, right? So we will create the data store on AI application. Earlier, it is used to call Vertex Agent Builder. So what we're gonna do, we'll install the Vertex AI SDK for Python. We define the model for the agent, and then we define function as a tool so that our agent can search and retrieve the movie information from the Vertex AI search. And then we will use the LangChain agent template in the Vertex AI SDK. Then we will test our agent locally before we deploy into the agent engine, sorry. And then we deploy and test our agent on agent engine in Vertex AI. So all I'm going to do is using the Collab Enterprise on Vertex AI. I'm going to use that one because it is going to solve all the dependencies for me. But you can do it on Workbench, or you want to do it on Collab. It's up to you. So this is easiest way for me to run the codes. So you log into your Go Cloud project, and once you log into Go Cloud project, you go to Vertex AI, and in the Vertex AI, just a second, in the Vertex AI under notebooks, you can use Collab Enterprise or you can use Workbench. It's up to you. I'm gonna use the Collab Enterprise for this demo. So first of all, we need to install a latest version of Vertex AI SDK for Python, and on some of the extra dependencies that is related to the agent engine or LangChain and Vertex AI Search. So I have a code. So let me just copy paste it here. So I'm gonna import this Google Cloud AI platform, agent engine, and LangChain, and then some of the extra dependencies like Cloud Discovery Engine and LangChain, Google Community. So just run it. So you can see that it is connecting to the runtime. Yeah, it is connected, and now it is going to Run install all your modules. Yes, done. Now let's restart the new package that we have installed. Just a second. So click on the code. So we're gonna restart the kernel because we have installed the modules. So it's been restarted. Status is okay. Let's go further. So now so the kernel has been restarted. Um, Next is we want to define our project location. Basically, if you have an existing Google Cloud project, you need to make sure that you have Vertex AI enabled, and then you can define your project name, region, location, right? So this is what my project details and the location and the bucket. This bucket is needed because you want to use that for agent engine, because agent engine will push the package into the GSCS bucket, and for that we will use that bucket. And then we are importing the Vertex AI, and the Vertex AI init is going to initiate all our project information. So let's run it. Now it's time to import the libraries. Let's import those libraries. These libraries are required for when, because we are building the conversation agent, so we need different libraries like markdown, display, and discovery. And we have some LangChain libraries for chat message histories and prompts. Agent engines is from the Vertex AI, which we will use to create the agent engine. And we have a reasoning engine that we're gonna use with the LangChain agent. Next is we want to define our models. So which model we want to work with. So right now we will use Gemini 2.0 Flash. So let's run this. So now it's time to create a data store in the Vertex AI Search. Before I create the data store in the Vertex AI Search, you need to understand how the RAG things basically work. So I have this Excel draw. Yeah. So here you can see that once we build our agent, the user sends a query to the agent, and the agent checks its data. So usually a vector database to retrieve the relevant documents or chunks using the embedding. So what we're gonna do, this part, this database and GCS bucket part, this is a different GCS bucket, which we're gonna use with our data store. So we are going to create a data store in AI application or agent, agent Vertex AI agent builder. uh, so this data store, we will create a structured data store, and we will feed the data of our movies collections from the public GCS bucket, and this data store will index. I will basically, create the chunks, create the embeddings, and create the indexing of those data into the data store, right? So all the creating the vector database, what embedding model and everything will be taken care by the data store, and then this agent, this document are passed to the large language model along with the user question. So that's why when you pass a query, it's going to retrieve the relevant data, right? Because the query is also going to be stored as a vertex, as a vector, and then it matches the relevant index which is already embedded into the data store. So this part is when agent going to retrieve the data from the data store. This is called the retrieval, right? And then it has a retrieval data, and the context of the data plus the agent plus the user query, and that it send it to the LLM, which becomes your augmentation. So it has a query plus context. The LLM reads the retrieved information and generate a response based on both the user query and the retrieved content or context, right? And then agent returns the answer um, to the users based on the document, or the enterprise document that is stored into the data store, right? So the response is grounded, is very relevant, and up to date. So this is how the RAG works in general, right? So let's create a data store in Vertex AI. So to do that, not Vertex AI, it's basically AI application. If you go to the AI application, you can go to data store, and since I have already created my data store, you can see it here, Kaggle one. Um, if you look at it here, I already have a data which is been indexed, and the data is coming from a public data set. But to create it, how you can create it, just go back, create a data store, select the Google Cloud Storage, and here you just need to select the structured data, right? And then we have a file, and then here um, you need to select a public data set. I have a public data set. If you look at this document, how to create the data store, so you can create the data store like in three ways: website data, structured data, unstructured data. So here I'm going to create the structured data. So this is the public data set, which you can take it from this bucket, and you can put it here. Make sure you select the file option here, because if we just want to import the data from the file, and then click on the continue. And here you just follow this particular link, how to create a structured data. Here in the next part, you just need to set this field name, home page, and overview. Make sure you select it. So your home page, you just need to select it, URI, and the overview, you just need to select it, the what is that, description. So it is overview, need to select the description. Overview is description. Why it's not coming? Oh, right. So once it is done, you can click on continue and put your name, something, some name of your data store, and you can create it. Since I have already created it, I don't need to create it again. So I'm going to cancel it. Right. Once it is done, you can attach it to the app. Right. You know how to create the app. It's pretty easy. You just create the app, and when you create the app, then you make sure that you select the search for your website, the second option. Put your app name. Maybe you can put it app demo. Put company name, example company, and then click on continue. When you start creating your app, you make sure you select your data store. So the data store is still being created. Is that is why it's still not available here. But when you create it, you need to select your data store, right? So these two steps you need to do as a part of prerequisites to perform the rack options, because we want to search the data. We want our conversational agent to respond on your enterprise data, right? So that's why these steps are required. So I'm going to cancel this one. Okay. So the next step is, since I have already have this one, so what I'm going to do, yeah. So next step is we're gonna provide our data store ID, right? So to do that, just use this code block. So data store and location. So data store ID, I'm gonna use this one. If I go to data store, Kaggle one. So you see that my last document import is successful. You make sure that your data store must be passed and successful. You can see the details here, and you can see the all your data has been indexed, right? You can see that basically these are nothing. Your data has been chunked and indexed, right? So what you need to do, you just need to get this data store ID and put it here. I can put it here, and simply location ID is global is fine. Just run it. So we want to make sure that why we are putting this data agent, sorry, data store ID, because we want to provide this data store ID to our agents, right? That's why we are putting into the variables. Next is we want to define the Python function as a tool. So the second component of your agent basically going to involve Python function as a tool, right? If someone says Python function, it's also as a tool. So what it will do, it will basically enable the Gemini model, the LLM model that we have used before, to interact with the external system or database. In this case, we have a data store, right? It can be other API, so that the model can get the most up to date information or take action with those systems. So since we are using a data store, we will define a function that will send a query to Vertex AI Search, and then it returns the relevant records from the data store that we have just created, right? So to do that, I have a I have a code that I have a function. Basically, it's a Python function, search Kaggle movies, and we are giving some instructions how to behave it, like search across records in the Kaggle movies dataset. And we are using the LangChain rule community framework to import the Vertex AI search retriever, and we are passing the project ID, data store ID, locations, engines, and maximum documents, right? So all these things, and then we are returning the results. So let's run it. So it's been passed. Now we can test it, your search function, with a sample input to ensure that it is working as expected, right? So let's see that what it does. So we are just going to search words called Harry Potter. Let's search it. So here you can see that it is you are getting some response from here, right? So let's make sure that our function is our tool is connected to your data store, and it is fetching the data, right? So which means your tool, this is a tool, is connected to your data store, right? Now we are going to define the agents. So for define the agents, this is going to be a third component of your agent, which basically, let me just copy the code. Let's copy it here. So we are defining the prompt template, right? Basically, if you were to use Gemini or and function calling on their own without a reasoning layer, you would need to handle the process of calling function and APIs in your application code, and you would need to implement retries and additional logic to ensure that your function calling the code. So that is why we are defining the prompts template and initializing the chat session history, right? So let's run it. Next is you will use the LangChain agent template uh, that that has been provided in the Vertex AI SDK for agent engine, which basically brings together the model, tools, and reasoning that you are going to build it. So here you can see that we are going to pass the agent, the LangChain agent, and the prompt, and the model, the chat history, and all those things, the tools and everything, right? So we are, because we are following this LangChain, right? So you just simply execute it, and so till now, your agent has been built using the LangChain, right? Now we want to test it. You want to test your agent is locally, right? If you have seen my videos earlier, like we have built the agent using the ADK framework, and we have tested it on locally. Here we are using the LangChain, but the process is almost same. In ADK, we are using the different libraries. For LangChain, we are using different libraries, because this is a different framework. But more or less, the idea is same. Now we want to test it, so that you can test the model and the agent behavior, to ensure that it is working as expected. So let's run this here. Oh, my bad. Let me copy the right code. Yeah, so we are saying response agent dot query. We are going to make a query, and the input is list some science fiction movies from 1990s. So because our data set contains a lot of movies collections and has a lot of PDF about the movies informations over there. So basically this input is going to be first embedded as a vector, and then it will find the relevant chunks of or piece of information from the indexing or embedded database from the data store, and then it send this particular user query and the retrieved information to the LLM, and LLM um, will basically respond to the agent with the required output, and the agent will pass this information to the end user, right? So let me just run this. So yeah, you can see that the agent has the LLM has replied uh, with some output. It has found the several science fiction movie, right? So you can see the response. And now here, till now here, we have tested our agent locally, right? So if you see, look at this diagram, we have created the agent locally, right? We have tried to send some information to the agent asking the science fiction movie. It first went to the data store to retrieve the required piece of information, and this piece of information is then sent it to the LLM, and LLM basically responded it back to the agent, right? And agent has given it back to the clients with the output or with the results, right? Now we want to deploy this agent on Vertex AI, right? Because building an agent on locally is not a this is not a recommended way, because you want to test your agent locally before you want to deploy into the agent engine, right? So to do that, we have a um, we have a code. Just a second. So we're gonna pass this again. You can redefine the agent to just to avoid the stateful information, and in the agent due to our testing in the previous cell. So I just want to run it again. Even if you don't want to run, that's okay. It's not going to break your code. Now let's define the agent engine. So for that we need um, something called agent underscore engine dot create. So this is the parameter that we use along with the instance of your agent and the Python packages that your agent requires at the runtime. So you can see that your agent and the requirement is like you need an agent engine, LangChain, and all these some of the requirements that you're gonna pass it. Just run it. So you can see that it's creating the engine. So you can see the progress here. Let me click on it. It had started creating the engine, and it is using that bucket name. You can see that here it is actually pushing your agent agent directory as a package to this bucket, and this is the prefix or the folders agent engine. And under that there are a couple of files like pkl, there are requirement or text file, and there are tar and zip file. So everything is getting pushed to the bucket, and here you can see the live progress. If I click on here, you can see this. I guess so. Something is happening here. You can see it. Yeah, it's downloading the uploading the file. So it is basically building some some process behind the scene, and it's pushing the code to your Google Cloud bucket, right? So you can see what is happening behind the scene. You can just see the logging, and can verify that everything is working. So let's wait for, because it's going to take some time. I think 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to pause the recording and resume once it is done. All right. So you can see that after 10 minutes, the entire it has created an agent engine on Vertex AI. So you can see it here. So if you look at the storage, let's see this what's under the GCS bucket. So this is my bucket name. It has used my bucket name and writing all this agent engine. It has created an agent engine directory, and under this directory, there are certain files. But see, basically, it has created an agent engine. Um, uh, all the required file that is required to run your agent onto the agentic engine. So it has used this package to build the containers, and then these containers are running onto the Vertex agent engine, right? Now let's see. So you can see that this is your Vertex agent engine dot get. If you want to list all your agent engine, you can run this command. And this is the location of your agent engine, the project number, location, reasoning engine, and this number. Right now, if you want to look at your agent engine in GUI console, you might not be able to see it because this functionality is still in preview mode, and Google is soon going to release this features, and then you will be able to see your engine in Google Cloud Console. But right now the only way is to use the CLI. Okay, now another thing is, we want to give some access to our agent service account, because we have deployed deployed this agent into the Vertex AI. So we need some service account to get to give some rules. So for do that, because if you send the query before granting the rules, it gonna fail. So let me let me first retrieve the project number which is associated with your agent or service account agent. So in Google Cloud Console, there every services has some agent service account, right? So we need to retrieve first the required service account, and this is the project number first. So every agent service account starts with service hyphen project number, right? Now let me assign a role binding to that service account. So you can see that I am adding this service account, which will start with service and the project number. This is my project number, and this is the agent. This entire is agent, right? And I'm giving binding the role of discovery engine editor. Discovery engine editor role we will assign to the agent service account. And after you complete this step, your remote agent will be able to retrieve the document from the data store that we have just created in the Vertex AI search, right? So I hope this point is clear why we are assigning and binding the role, because our agent is now running on Vertex engine, and we need sufficient permissions to communicate with the other APIs, right? So we're gonna do this none, and you can see that your service account has been given. So if I just use this one, yeah, this is the one, IAM. If you want to see it, you can just see it here in the IAM. Let me see, where is IAM? Yeah, this is. So you make sure you are into IAM console and just search for this. Oh, you need to just make sure that you need to just check this one, included Google provided role agents, right? So all the Google provided role agents are will be visible when you click on that, right? So you see that right now. So it has got this discovery engine editor role. So now this agent is running behind the scene, which will actually go and retrieve the data from the data store, right? So nobody is going to stop our our agent in the agent engine. Okay. Now next thing is, Let's test your remotely deployed agent. So let me just copy the code, and with all the core component of your agent in place, you can now send the prompts to your remotely deployed agent. Remember, remotely deployed agent, not the local agent. That will perform the different task and test whether it is working as expected or not. So here you see that we are now sending remote underscore agent dot query because we have passed this as a variable in the remote underscore agent. You can see it here, right? So we need to pass the prompt to this agent. And the input I'm saying list some science fiction movies from 1990s. And the config is session ID. And we also want to say that display it as a markdown. So it send us a very nice format. So you can see the response from the agent, from the Vertex, from the agent engine. It has given us a very nice response that it found some science fiction movies. And this is what the movie's name, right? Let's pass some more queries to see if it is working. So I'm gonna put more query. You can this time saying who are the actors in the matrix. So I'm gonna run this one. So you can see that it has found the information of this particular movie, and then these are the stars of this movie like Neo, Morpheus, Trinity, and all this thing, right? Um, we can also pass more queries. Let's just test it and have fun. So I think this information is not available right now for in the data set. That's why it has not responded. Right. So now your agent is deployed, and basically you have now deployed your agent into the agent engine, and there are multiple ways to interact with, right? So you can use within the notebook or from the other application, but the primary method of accessing your deployed agent are via the Python client library or the REST APIs, right? Because you want to use these agent APIs or endpoint in your existing application, or maybe in your new application. So you can always use the resource name. So there is a different um, video on that, um, that you can refer it, how to use um, the endpoint of the agent engine, and how to access from the other environment by the REST API, right? So once your testing is done, I'm going to delete it because obviously if I keep it running, it's going to cost me. So make sure you